I think this is the saddest chapter of My Hero Academia to date. At least it was for me personally. Every single panel with Twice was just so heart-wrenching. I love that character so much. I cannot believe he's really gone for good. The action panels, per usual, incredibly drawn. I can't stress it enough how much Horikoshi has been killing it lately. I think the past 3 or 4 chapters have been 19 pages, which is more than the usual My Hero chapter lengths of about 14 to 15. On top of doing Twitter sketches for fans related to the anime episodes, it's just an actual madman, ladies and gentlemen. Actual madman. Keep it up, buddy. Keep it up. So this chapter picked up with Dabi continuing his foot fire blast on Hawks' face. Dabi really looked like he was going all in with that pressure too, judging by the look on his face. However, Hawks was able to slip out from under Dabi while also holding Twice. Man, this always happens to Dabi, I swear to God. Every time it looks like he's about to have the upper hand in a battle, he just gets fucked. Every single time! He got worn out by Giten, couldn't attack Endeavor and Hawks back at the end of the high-end fight because of Miriko's interference, his clones got bodied like nothing during the training camp, and now this? Hori, please give him at least 1 W before this arc is over, please! And Dabi seems to not care that much that Hawks slipped away because Hawks lost a lot of the feathers from the fire blast. It looks like he has only half of one of his left wings left and the right one is completely gone. Hawks also points out that Dabi nearly burnt Twice from the attack, but Dabi once again didn't care because he knew Hawks' life-saving hero instincts would kick in to help Twice anyway. It's actually insane how little this man cares about life in general. It really seems like he values other people's lives the least out of any League/PLF member. Hell, even Shigaraki seems to value the lives of his comrades quite a bit. But Dabi has always been a black sheep in the League though, in the sense that he tagged along with the gang when they did big jobs, but he was always focused on doing his own thing and trying to benefit his own desires rather than the entire League's. Dabi then points out to Hawks that he never trusted him from the start. I can definitely see that because Dabi is also the least trusting person in the PLF, and how the whole high-end setup didn't go as Hawks has planned, but Dabi just did his own thing anyway. And not a single person knows his true name yet, not even Hawks, and Hawks is supposed to be the master infiltrator. But what I find interesting though is if Dabi never trusted Hawks to begin with at all like he claims, then why did he allow him to get so close to the League in the first place? Hawks getting as close to them as he did is the reason the heroes were able to raid the mansion in the first place. And the heroes have been bodying the villains so far too. The only time the villains looked like they had the upper hand was when Dabi made his surprise attack on Hawks, but Hawks just got out of it instantly. Granted, I don't think this is the end of the Dabi and Hawks fight. I think their fight will continue/end before this arc is over, with Hawks potentially dying. We'll see, because, you know, fire counters his feathers. But at the same time, I think Hawks is a way better fighter and tactician than Dabi is, so I don't know. While Hawks is thinking to himself on how to act next, Twice spawns a clone behind Hawks to hold him in place so Dabi can use another fire blast on him. When Twice dodges the attack too, you can see he still retains some of his old broken personality, where he'll say 2 things that are opposite of one another given on what's going on. He said Dabi's flames were too hot, but then he said they were burning cold right after. Dabi gives some encouraging words to Twice here, saying, "With you alone, we can get rid of the heroes, get out there and go wild." They high-five right after too as Twice was running away. It looked so wholesome. I think Dabi doesn't value Twice that much as an associate, but I think he definitely values him more than someone like Toga or Spinner. You know, I think if Toga or Spinner were in Twice's position, he would not be as inclined to help him as he was with Twice. Also, that high-five reminded me a lot of how characters in Dr. Stone high-five each other right before starting a science project to get motivated. It was great. Although Hawks tilted me for being the one to kill Twice this chapter, I respect the fuck out of this man's speed. This dude was able to flank both Twice and Dabi without either of them noticing through Dabi's flame attack. With 1 wing, by the way. Not even 1 full wing, actually more like 50 to 75% of a full wing. Imagine if both wings were still fully grown on his back. He could have blitzed both of them. This dude must have flown outside of the mansion and back inside to the previous location. Like, how did Dabi not notice that? How? Dabi even points out how that Hawks is just too fast for the naked eye and proceeds to call Hawks by his full name, Takami Kaigo. This is the 3rd time Dabi has called a character by their full name. The other 2 instances were with Shoto and Endeavor. Hawks wonders how Dabi could have possibly known his real name, questioning who Dabi really is. He's like, "Who are you? How do you know my name?" I know these panels raised a lot of eyebrows amongst the fandom, especially Dabi as Toya theorists. As a believer of Dabi being Toya myself, I think there's 2 possibilities here, 2 realistic possibilities. One is that since Dabi and Hawks are both in their early 20s, there's a chance that they grew up together in some type of fashion. That may end up being ruled out though, because Hawks was scouted by the Hero Safety Commission at a young age so they could train him to be their vision of the ideal hero. So there's a chance that he didn't go to normal school like other kids and didn't really spend time around other kids like maybe Toya Todoroki did. The other is Dabi simply did research of people Endeavor associates with, and Hawks associated with Endeavor a lot, on top of trying to join the League of Villains, so I could definitely see Dabi researching this guy who's associated with his potential father, and somebody who is trying to join the League and is the number 2 hero. Hence how he potentially learned his real name. And if Dabi really does kill Hawks before this arc is over, we better learn who he really is, like, shortly after that, or I'm gonna be really pissed off. Like, Dabi really has yet to feel like a good character for some fans because of his backstory not being explored yet, because he hasn't really gotten much development. A lot of people just don't really care about him. A lot of people, the people who do like him, like me, like him because of the potential development there of him actually being Toya. You know, I've personally already convinced myself he's without a doubt Toya, but until it's confirmed on page, then others won't feel the same, and that's completely understandable, to be honest. Here we get some inner monologuing from Twice that really tugs on the heartstrings. He's determined to keep going to protect his friends. He doesn't want to betray the kindness they all showed him. While all this is going down, we get shots of Spinner, Toga, Compress, and even Giron in various parts of the mansion. Anytime I see a character in a dire situation with inner monologuing going on while there's shots of the people that person is close to, it usually means death is approaching. I was getting so nervous when I first read through all this. He kept talking about how much he's failed in life, constantly getting conned and backstabbed. Such a sad existence, he says. During these statements in particular, you see Hawks ambush Twice again with another sneak attack, then cutting to a panel with splattered blood, along with the handkerchief Toga gave to Twice. Ugh, why? Oh my god. Toga and Compress are in a bit of a pinch here with this hero who has some kind of clay snake quirk where he generates these things from his wrist to apprehend villains. His hero costume is sort of like an inversion of Twice's when it comes to its colors, too. Twice's costume is mostly black with white stripes, whereas this guy's is mostly white with black stripes. And they both have the face mask covering. It's very similar. Just as this hero is about to lay the finishing blow on Toga and Compress, one of Twice's clones sneaks up behind him to stab him in the back of the head. Twice's clone starts to weaken after this, and he apologizes to them for not being able to clone himself again, blaming himself once again for getting tricked by Hawks as well. He notices Toga's face was scarred, so he gave her the handkerchief back. The clone, slowly becoming more sludge-like, falls into Toga's arms. She thanks him for saving her in the end. Twice realizes he didn't have a life filled with bad luck. He was as happy as he could be with the League. Fucking hell, man. I want to crawl into a hole and never come out. Twice slowly worked his way up to becoming my second favorite member of the League, tied with Dabi, and Shigaraki being number 1, of course. This is the first time we've got a death of a truly major character in the series, to be honest. I know Night Eye was impactful, yes, but he also died in the same arc he was introduced in. Magne hadn't been around for that long either. You know, Twice, though, he's arguably had more development than Ida. So seeing him go is definitely a hard pill to swallow. Rest in peace, Twice, aka Bye-bye Gawara Jin. I will miss you so much. So, with Twice dead, how is the PLF going to continue their defense against the heroes? I, for one, think Toga is going to go ballistic because she was the closest member to Twice. Like, I think out of all the bonds that were formed between the League of Villains, Twice and Toga definitely had the strongest bond friendship. For sure. So unless Horikoshi cuts back to the hospital / to where Deku is in the city, then we're probably going to see Toga's reaction to Twice dying amongst potentially the other PLF members, the major PLF members. If she's able to get to Twice's main body, she can take his blood along with his quirk to make it as if his powers never left this world at all. So she could make a one-man army with Twice's quirk. Granted, I don't know if that alone will be good enough to stop that many heroes. At this point, I think Shigaraki has to wake up for the villains to get a real upper hand in this war. Gigantomachia is out of commission because he only moves if Shigaraki tells him to. Unless Toga is able to use Twice's quirk to also make clones of Shigaraki, then that's a different story. But wouldn't she herself need to know Shigaraki's measurements to be able to do that? Like, Shigaraki got all the measurements of the League, and that's why he was able to clone them, but I don't know if Toga would need to know Shigaraki's measurements to use Twice's quirk. I don't know. It's really confusing. Once again, 10 out of 10 chapter. Every single chapter Hori has dropped since he cut to the mansion team has been such a treat to read. I can't wait to read the rest of this arc to see where things go. I think that just about does it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below how you think Twice's death will impact the future of this battle of the heroes versus the PLF. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, take care, bye-bye.